it's time to do a build order on that one build. Then on my stream, everyone either hates or loves in PvP. It's time for the low IQ, high mechanics build. I mean, not even that high mechanics. Really just low IQ build. It's time for the Buffoon. I'm gonna teach you the true Buffoon in PvP, which is the name I gave this build myself. You will open up Stargate and you will just build Blink Stalkers and blink on your opponent no matter what he has, and you will win games. Hasim already did a video on PvP, how to play it properly. This is a video on how to play PvP with as little thoughts as possible. So let's start this replay. It is Disc versus me. It is a beautiful PvP. And of course, the beginning is going to be very straightforward. So let me talk through something in PvP right now. So the way you guys should be looking at PvP, in my opinion, is you've got mainly 3 stages. You've got 3 stages. You've got the are they proxying me or not stage. You've got the between 2 and 3 base stage, and then you've got the post 3 base stage. And on the highest level, on the highest level, usually you just kind of skip the second stage and you go instantly to 3 base because you can almost defend everything. Usually, you do. But the first stage is still kind of complicated for people, so let's go back and talk about the first stage a little bit. It's not going to be the main focus. The proxy stage might be its own video at some point. But let's go through it in this game real quickly, just so you know what to do with the units. So in this game, I always scout after the first gateway, and sometimes I follow the probe, sometimes I don't, depends on who I'm playing. If you follow the probe, you make it a little bit more complicated for your opponent to check for, or rather, to go for proxies, right? You make it a little bit more complicated. They can still do that. So you want your probe back in time. You want to follow the probe just enough to make it weird, to go for a proxy. But you still want to check if they're actually going for a pylon at home. Now in this game, I do something weird and I just instantly scout along the map with 1 probe. I start out with 2 stalkers because I feel that is the best way to start out with. It pressures your opponent just a little bit while being safe for yourself and making it very easy to scout for proxies. I send out the second probe to scout for proxies, and now, as you can already see, right after the 2 stalkers, I start 2 more stalkers and I go for the Stargate. In my opinion, this is the safest thing you can do, because Stargate allows for so many things. It kind of counters proxy robo. It kind of counters proxy Stargate. It doesn't really counter it, but you're not in a bad position versus anything. And if you want to be the better player and don't think, just be kind of not in a bad position versus anything, and you're good. Unless you're above 6k, this is fine. This is totally fine. You can work with, I'm not in a bad position, right? So I go for 4 stalkers basically. I go for 4 stalkers, and then depending on how safe I feel, I just go for the Nexus. I see the pylon here, so I know, oh yeah, it's just a fake pylon. I don't even know if he proxied me or not. Like, I didn't check for that, right? I never checked for his base. And that kind of determines some of the decision making. But usually you can just grab the Nexus and you can just grab a shield battery, and you should be fine with almost everything. Because you can just sacrifice your Nexus if it's, for example, a proxy roll, right? So we got the pylon. We lose the Stalker, which is horrible, because the Buffoon follows how many rules? 2 rules. Hello, Fly. What's up? 2 rules. Number 1, every unit build that isn't a Stalker is not a Stalker. If your opponent builds adepts, you won the game. Done. Done, unless you take a lot of damage and then you fucked up, but that shouldn't happen, okay? Because you're going Stargate, you're going Oracle, and turns out Oracles destroy adepts. There we go. Number 2, just constantly build stalkers and you will have more stalkers than your opponent. It is what it is. So what you do is you go double gate, you go Stargate, to just go back real quick because I was explaining too much again. You start the Oracle, you chrono boost the Oracle. Don't get supply block. Don't get supply block, guys. I mean, I'm technically supply block, but I just got 4 stalkers out of the gateways, and maybe chrono boost warp gate if I don't feel safe, right? It's very free flow. If you don't feel safe, you're gonna boost warp gate once. You build a shield battery earlier. If you feel safe, it's fine. Just go into your probes and get the Twilight at apparently 4 minutes, but it doesn't really matter that much. You don't need sentries because you scout with the oracles. I fly in, and in this game it's very important. I don't really do damage. I still don't know what he has, but I don't care. I have decided I'm doing the Buffoon. I'm waiting for my 2 oracles to fly in. Let's follow these oracles. Let's follow these oracles. Meanwhile, of course, go blink and go 3rd gate. This is the true Buffoon, guys. This is the true Buffoon. Right after the Twilight starts, and you build more Stalkers. Of course, never skip pro production. It's important. This is not an all-in. This is not an all-in. This is a heavy committed attack. Right, and then as soon as you can, you plop down a 3rd gateway. And then you just constantly build Stalkers, and that's it. That's what I mean with this is lower key. You just constantly build Stalkers. You see everything with the oracles. You have to have a feel for it. Like, you have to either be willing to take the risk or have a feeling for when DTs might arrive. Because oracles, they are pretty decent versus DTs now. Again, they're not the best, but they're good enough. They are good enough, guys, and that is good enough for us. So I just fly in, check out. Oh, it's got a robo. It's got a forge. You kill some probes with some nice oracle micro, or you don't with some bad oracle micro. For example, almost lose the oracle. To go through what you can scout real quick, it's rather simple. The moment you see a forge, you're good. It's a forge. What are you scared of? Like suddenly a cannon rush? So that's and then you just kind of have to figure out, like, is it a forge robo or is it a forge Twilight? AKA, is it forged with some immortals? Probably. Or is it forged with blink Stalkers? No matter what, the moment they have a forge, you're gonna have more Stalkers, and if you do it right, you won the game. If it's not a forge, it's a little bit more complicated, right? But then it's a little bit more complicated to play, but it's also straightforward to understand. If they have a Twilight and the gateway, it turns out they're doing the same thing as you're doing. Do with that information what you want. If they have a robo and a gateway, then you have to be careful, because they could be doing, and they will probably be doing, an immortal push. But you always have to scout again with the oracles, which you will do anyways, because, well, it could also be that they just go for gateway robo and take a 3rd base for some reason. And if they have a Stargate, then you probably should already know that they have a Stargate, because an oracle already might have hit you. And that's honestly it. But from there on out, you just constantly build Stalkers and build a proxy pylon. And the proxy pylon is a proxy pylon. And this is horrible. This is my oracle, but that's fine. I don't build another gateway there. That's what I mean with the proxy pylon is just a proxy pylon. I don't build another gateway there, because there are 2 Buffoons. There's the real Buffoon, which is you go for 3 gateways, constantly build Stalkers, and then take a 3rd base. Because why not? Because this is not an all-in. Or there's the I don't wanna have anything to do with that Buffoon. Because that's the 4 gate, and then you just all in. And why would you all in if you can take a Nexus and have 3 gates and still kill opponents? I don't get it. So this is the real Buffoon. Is you then take a 3rd base, and basically what you do is you just constantly build Stalkers, and as soon as you have the minerals for it, because on 3 gates you will have minerals left over, you grab a Nexus, you grab a Forge, you grab stuff, you grab whatever you want to transition into. I would recommend transitioning into Disruptors after the attack. We'll get to the attack. After the attack, I would recommend transitioning to Disruptors, just because you're going to be behind in upgrades. But if you want to play Church Archon, do it. Because here's why. Let's check out why I can say that. Why I can say, you know what, just do what you want to do. Because in this game, I'm just going to take my Stalkers. And I'm just going to do this. And then you just right-click a Stalker. You right-click the next Stalker. You right-click the next Stalker. You right-click the next Stalker. You right-click a Sentry. You right-click another Stalker. And then you move out your micro a little bit. Because by the time... And it's fine. It's fine. And now suddenly, it's 38 probes to 50. You're ahead. The only parts where you're not ahead is 1 gateway left. Actually, no, never mind. A lot of gateways are missing, which you can't use now. And of course, tech is like super behind. In this game, Disc is going for charge lock, Stalker, and usually you should kill your opponent with this. I do this stupid blink, And the moment you do stupid blink, you kind of fuck up. Because now I don't have the necessary amount for stalkers anymore, to one-shot stalkers. And that's the important part. So that was a stupid blink. That was where it fucked up. Because the main thing with this build is you snowball with the stalkers. You snowball hard, especially versus people lower than 6k. And you grab the third base and, well, you just snowball harder. Look at this. Look at the 27 to 16 workers. Look at my minerals. I'm not spending my minerals. I could have the gateways he has. I just don't build them. Because my multitasking sometimes isn't that good. But hey, like, just build some gateways. Who cares? And grab a robo and go into Disruptors and go into whatever you want to do. You're ahead now. So the most important thing with this build is to know how many stalkers you need for what? For like 2 one-shot shit. And I would basically say this is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stalkers. You need 13 stalkers to be safe. That's not how many you need to one-shot a stalker. It is how many you need, however, to 2-shot an immortal under an overcharged battery. Which then you should have more stalkers than this. Ideally, if they have a lot of immortals, you should know that by going in with the oracles. But in this game, I knew that he didn't go for immortals because I had scouted with the oracles. If they had more immortals, you should wait a little bit. You have like 15 stalkers and then look out for where the immortal stands when you blink in. It's all about like very minute decision, like very small decision making in the positioning. Like seeing where his sentries are, how many force fields he has, and if you can like blink right on the immortal to see if he doesn't force field your stalkers out, so you can't 2-shot the immortal, because it's all about the 1-shots and it's all about the 2-shots. And then you just get ahead. You are not ahead in production, you are ahead in economy and army, and that means you can get ahead in production very, very quickly. Of course, I start taking kind of bad trades versus the charge shots, because I get a little bit too cocky and too confident, because this game has been played on my stream, and I kind of get like that sometimes on stream. And then you just kind of, like, it depends on what they have. There are 3.5 options for what they could have, right? They could have A, blink stalkers on their own, and usually in those cases, if they go blink stalkers on their own, unless they go for a similar build to yours, you can just blink on him and kill him. Let me tell you that. What are they supposed to do? Blink their stalkers back when they get one-shotted? Do you think your opponent can do that? I don't think so. I don't think so. If they can though, tough luck. They outplayed you. But usually no one can. And it's a little bit about like mind gaming. Like not making it too obvious which stalker you're shooting at. That's option number 1. Option number 2, they have a stalker mortal army. And then it's the same thing. As long as there are a lot of stalkers, it's the same thing as before. If they have a lot of stalkers, that means they don't have a good eco and they don't have a third base. If they have a lot of stalkers and a third base, then you must have fucked something up in your macro. Something must have happened that happened. Or they go for like charge slot styles, which usually means you have won the game, because charge slots are really bad versus stalkers. Especially if you microwave, but it's all about like hitting the timing on like you have to snowball, right? So you have to hit this timing, otherwise they will have too many zealots and you don't get an advantage. It's all about taking the advantage. It's all about having the momentum with this style. Like you attack and you don't have to kill your opponent, although most cases you should. It's just about getting the third base up before your opponent, like out economizing. Is that a word? Probably him, and that should work, right? So in this game you can see how that happened. You can see how I then start trading bad and then realize I've got freaking 700 minerals in the bank and I didn't build shield batteries, I didn't build gateways. What the fuck am I doing? Well, that shouldn't happen to you. So just behind that, build probes, build shield batteries, build gateways, because if they go charge slots, what are they going to do with the shield batteries? Nothing. Charge slots don't do shit with the shield batteries, right? And that's the build. That is the build, guys. The rest of the game is going to play out like that. We just out macro him. because we have more shit. I'm going into charge lots because I know how incredibly far ahead I am. That's basically the idea. Like, charge lots are really good at ending a game, but I'm also just grabbing a lot of shield batteries to be safe. Remember, kids, if you want to survive, you build shield batteries, and that's it. Low IQ, high mechanics. You just blink into your opponent, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, that's going to be it, because the rest of the game isn't really that interesting. We just micro a little bit, and micro him and out-position him. And Archons are kind of bad versus Stalkers. Shield batteries are really good, and we just win this game. So to do a quick recap, the idea of the build is to go for Stargate, so have A, scouting, and B, harassment capabilities, and A, B, 3. Fair enough. A, B, 3, you are a little bit safer versus proxies. Then you go into 4 Stalkers, because you don't need sentries within the Stargate. Also, you can't really get sentries with the Stargate because of the gas, but you can technically. And then you just get a Twilight, and then you get Twilight, you get a Gateway, you get Blink, and you just constantly build props and Stalkers. As if you're a Terran player, basically. You just constantly build Stalkers. And then you kind of hit at 6 minutes with the Proxy Pilot and about 13 to hopefully more Stalkers. And if your opponent doesn't have enough, in most cases they shouldn't, you just blink on him and you just snipe 1 Stalker per. Like, you snipe 1 Stalker, or you snipe one Immortal, and you just kill him with that. Because in most cases, your opponent will have a third base and try to out macro. Like, that's the common way. If they play the common way, that's gonna happen. If you're on lower levels and your opponent does something weird, like, or not weird, but like just goes for a lot of army, and you notice that he has way too much to blink into, number one, you might not have hit your benchmark. Always check for that. But if you did hit your benchmark, and that's very likely the case, and your opponent still has more, then number two, just go back and build shield batteries and tech to Disruptors or tech to Forge, whatever you want to, because you're not going to be too far behind. You're going to be ahead economically, and you can out micro him. You can kite him, and you can check for his third base. That's the important part about why I would not recommend the 4-gate Buffoon, which is stupid, but the 3-gate Buffoon, because you take a third base behind it, and you should be safe. And you can just transition earlier, right? As you could see in this game, I had enough minerals to just transition into more gateways, or into Robo, or into earlier gases, or into whatever you really want to, right? And there you go. That is the build. If you wanted a simple, just hit the benchmark and just blink into your opponent style, that is still fun, and that kind of skips Disruptors if you want to. Here you are. I hope it's gonna help you. I'm gonna upload this video probably on, I don't know yet. It's Friday now. Who knows when I'm gonna upload it, but I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful somewhat. It's a stupid thing, okay? PvP is an amazing matchup right now because it's very free flow. This build, you gotta love it or hate it. I love it. I love it. It works for me. For some reason it works for me. It's hard to explain because all you do is you build Stalkers and you blink in. And I get why. Because most people don't warp in like PvP, like Protoss works in you build a lot of gateways and then you warp in. This is like, you know what, I'm just gonna warp in and then I'm gonna blink on you and I'm gonna hit before your power spike hits. And that's why it works. So on lower levels you have to be careful about your opponent having too much shit because they do the same thing as you do. Because they don't know yet about the power spike. Which is fine. Again, you can transition out of it. Guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, feel free to like, share, subscribe. You know, the usual YouTube stuff. Also, I stream every day, Monday to Friday, 5 PM to 10 PM. Link down below, just like every other social media link. Have a good day, guys. Take care. Hello, Fly. Take care. Enjoy yourselves. Peace.